Good day, everybody. I just want to make a few comments about Module 2 now that I've finished reading all of your posts for Module 1. So let's have a look. So in Module 2, we're now talking about approaches to planning. So you've looked at a range of issues around curriculum and instruction, and now you're going to be looking at a range of considerations and approaches to curriculum planning and to innovative curriculum planning. So what does it mean to be innovative? What does it mean to consider different types of perspectives, and so on and so forth. So what I want you to do for this framework, let me just jump back out here again. Oops. Oh, this is just where I was, just a moment. Here we go. Yes. So for the framework, some of you have been emailing me about just what should the framework look like, and there's some concern about the idea of it being original, and so could you use a template from Canva or PowerPoint or so forth, and what should it actually be? So one thing it should do is should include the stretches. You should be thinking about, from an innovation point of view, how are you going to be innovative in your classroom? So this doesn't necessarily mean that you're creating a whole new way of thinking about the world. What it does mean is that you are going to try some new ideas, some new strategies, some new processes in your classroom. And that's important because if you look here at Module 3, you're going to actually try out some of these new innovative approaches in your classroom. So we want you to take a risk. You're going to take a risk, and then you're going to come back to the framework and you're going to do a sort of revisit of this framework. So I want you to think about what you do, how you can be more innovative, how you can take some risks. For some of you, I asked you, who is taking the risk? Is it you or is it your students who are taking the risks in the classroom? It should be you, of course, and it should also be your students. And for one of you, I actually commented, and I think I've put this up on my blog site. We talk about the classroom being a safe place to take risks. And so I always find that a little bit of a challenge. Of course, we want our students to have a safe environment, but if it's perfectly safe, where's the risk? What risk are they taking? So I want you to really think about, how do they actually take risks, calculated risks or safe risks, safe being in quotation marks. I do wonder if there should be, some kind of element at risk. Anyways, that's a discussion for another day, perhaps. So it does say do not download and fill in a framework. But what you can do if you need to have some kind of, model or guideline, there's lots of templates, so that's not quite the same thing. But one thing that I notice with these frameworks, I've taught this course many times, they tend to be of two kinds. One kind of framework is where the students think about some of the considerations and much more broad strokes of, is my lesson plan inclusive? Am I considering diverse perspectives? Am I including differentiated assessment opportunities? Things of that nature, which are much more broad strokes and not so much process oriented. The other style of framework I see is much more process oriented, about step 1 is I do this, step 2 I review my plan, step 3 I expand what I'm doing to make sure it's inclusive, step 4 and step 5. Personally, I'm much more in favor of the second kind, because to me, teaching is very much a process, even if we edit and alter that process on the fly as we go along to try to adapt to the changing circumstances of our classroom. Another guideline that I like to share with students is that I like frameworks. Imagine that you're going to share this framework with your students, or at least with your colleagues. Could you print it? Could you keep it? Oops, my colleague out with her kids. Let me just get rid of that. Yes. How would you share this in a very concise manner? If it's more than a slide, 2 PowerPoint slides, maybe it's a bit too long. If I have to scroll up and down, it also might be, oops, a little bit too, oh, what's happened here? There we go. And don't forget to have a 300 to 500 word explanation. I do realize that this is a little bit late to be sharing this, but nevertheless, you still got a few days. Well, you still have all of next week to comment on others and on your own if you want. And we will be revisiting this for Module 4. So, okay, thank you.